Everybody, welcome back to the Parenting Podcast. Man, we're so glad to be with you today. And there's three things that are just really important to me that I want to get over to you and we want to share with you that are really big rocks when I think about parenting. And those three things, the first of those three things is to teach your children. Teach them in Deuteronomy chapter 6, a wonderful chapter in the scriptures. It teaches us that because the Lord's brought us into a wonderful land flowing with milk and honey, we shall love the Lord our God with all our heart, soul, mind, and strength, have His word in our heart, and teach them diligently to your children, he says. You shall talk of them when you sit in your house, when you walk by the way, when you lie down, when you rise up. Teach them. And it means to really, matter of fact, one translation says wet it like on a whetstone, make it sharp. And so it penetrates. I think that's the Amplified translation. And there's, depending on how developed, how old your children is, there's different things that you can teach, different ways that you can teach. But it's really to get information and knowledge and understanding into them. And the second word is train. And these things are different. Teach and train, they're two different things. Proverbs 22:6 says, train up a child in the way he should go, and when he's old, he won't depart from it. What does that other translation, how does that read?
Okay, this is the Passion Translation, and it says this: dedicate your children to God and point them in the way that they should go, and the values they've learned from you will be with them for life.
Wow. So training involves, I remember when I've seen people get dogs. People don't necessarily like this when I talk about dogs, training dogs.
Kids to dogs.
I'm not really comparing kids to dogs, but the training process is real similar. It means to teach and make them do it. And so, our son-in-law used to have that dog that would do all kinds of tricks. Well, it didn't do it the first time, but he trained him. And this verse shows us that the values that when those values get in them, those values will govern their behavior and guide their behaviors. And you really are setting up your children to succeed. You're really imparting to them behaviors and understanding and values to direct their decisions. And then the third thing, so teach and train. And the third thing is to bring up. Bring up. In Ephesians 6:4, we read, and you fathers, do not provoke your children to wrath, but bring them up in the training and admonition of the Lord. You found another translation that was really good on that.
Yeah, it's the Message paraphrase, and it says, fathers, don't exasperate your children by coming down hard on them. Take them by the hand and lead them in the way of the Master.
I love that.
I love that too.
By the hand. Right now we're sitting at a picnic table, and if I stood up on this picnic table and I reached down to a little boy, little girl, to help them climb up with me and take them by the hand and bring them up. And that's the whole thought of that, is to bring them up. It's not, so teaching is important, training is important, but you need that bringing up.
I like how it says that in the Message translation about take them by the hand.
Yeah.
Because that means we're not just saying to our kids, you go do that.
Yeah.
You go, make your bed. You go do the dishes. You go, I don't know what the other thing, we mow the lawn. But take them by the hand. So in time to come, you can totally say, go make your bed. But in the beginning, you are with them, like you take them by the hand and you say, let's go make your bed. You're teaching them, but you're doing it with them. Even little tiny kids like 18 months old, you can help them, you can take them by the hand and show them, this is how we pick up our toys, and it's a training and it's a teaching, one thing after another. Take them by the hand. This is how we do the dishes, or this is how we fill the dishwasher. Or this is how we mow the lawn. This is how, you take them by the hand, but it begins with you going with them. And that taking by the hand really gives us that picture that you're with them in the training and the teaching and the guiding in their life, so that they can end up doing it themselves, but you're in it with them.
It's kind of like, I'm reminded of that old expression, teach a man to fish and you'll feed him for a day. or give a man a fish, and you'll feed him for a day. He'll eat for a day. Teach a man to fish, and he'll eat the rest of his life.
Yeah.
And take him by the hand, and maybe you're going to teach them how to fish. Literally, give them a hobby for the rest of their life.
Yeah.
But also you could take that to take them by the hand. How do you make investments? How do you buy a car? How do you do your laundry? How do you live life?
Mm-hmm.
And they're learning that by walking with you in it. They're picking it up. And how's that last part of that verse? I so like the first part of that verse says, don't exasperate your children, don't frustrate them. There's a word, remonstrance is a word that means constant and continual fault finding. I know we can, as dads especially, we're short on time with our kids, and so we want to make sure we get them straightened out and fixed up in the time that we have. And if we're not careful, everything we say to our kids is a correction.
Yeah.
And after a while, they just will forget it. I can't do anything right.
Yeah.
And that's exasperation. We don't want to do that. On the contrary, we want to do what's in the second half. And what does that? Go ahead and read that again. Fathers, don't exasperate your children.
By coming down hard on them, take them by the hand and lead them in the way of the master.
In the way of the master. Thank God he doesn't just constantly find fault with us.
Right. He speaks life to
Man,
us.
he
He
loves
speaks
us.
blessing to us.
Yeah.
He tells us we're loved and we can do it. We're
Yes.
capable in him.
Yes.
God's
Leads us in the way we
good.
should go. He is good to us. So we love you. Teach them, train them. By all means, bring them up. Take them by the hand.
Have
Lead
a
'em in
good
the
week with your kids.
Yeah.